Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Victoria Seaman joins us from the Las Vegas City Council, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
A parade sets the stage for the greatest show in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada.
It's a legacy that began over 100 years ago and continues today. The Reno Rodeo. Still the wildest, richest rodeo in the West. Keeping it old school at the Reno Rodeo 2022, June 16th to the 25th. For tickets, go to renorodeo.com.
Meantime, here in Nevada, we appear to have one of the highest inflation rates in the country.
Soaring prices for gas, food, housing, and construction supplies continue to hammer Nevadans.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto was the deciding vote for President Biden's multi-trillion-dollar spending spree, sending inflation through the roof and raising gas and grocery prices over 8% on hardworking Nevadans. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to stop voting for reckless spending and start fighting inflation.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Events Center in Las Vegas. Host meetings and events on 2 floors. Stay in luxurious rooms and suites. Unlimited branding opportunities. Regional Italian cuisine by Chef Mark Segrisi. Flexible event spaces. Full buyout options. Visit ahernhotel.com today.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. Entertainment here at the Carson Valley Inn is extraordinary.
Yeah, super proud of the TJ's Corral, our outdoor venue, about 1,500 seats. We've had first-class entertainment out there. We've had Merle Haggard, we've had Chris Young, we've had Lee Brice a couple times, we've had Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, who's in the Hall of Fame. We're real proud out there, and it's just a great time. Watch CarsonValleyInn.com and grab those tickets early. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're pleased to welcome back to the program after an absence, Victoria Seaman. She represents Ward 2 on the Las Vegas City Council. Pleasure to have you back on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well,
it's been a while.
It has. But you've been on the council since 2019, correct?
Correct.
Before that, you were an assemblywoman, and you're also a Latina.
Yes.
And so I guess my first question to you is, how big is the Latin vote going to be in Nevada in this coming election cycle?
I think it's going to be huge. We have a lot of Latins in Nevada, and there's more and more coming every day.
There have been Latinos in this valley for a long time. The problem was they weren't voting. Do you think that it is now not only a point where they will be voting, but they will be voting in such large numbers that they will affect the races dramatically?
I think they will. With the inflation, when they go to the gas pump, when they go to the grocery store, I think they're affected, and you will see them come out in droves.
All right, so, and that's going to be for the entire population, because
it is.
There's nobody that has not been affected by this, in whether it's gas prices or going to the grocery store. The price of everyday basics has gone through the roof. How do you see this playing out? Because you know as well as I do that when things go wrong, who gets the blame? The politicians.
That's right.
And so where do you think this is going to end up?
Well, I think you're going to see an enormous red wave, because I think the policies are coming from Washington, most of them, and people are just completely tired of this inflation. And it's not going to get better before it gets worse.
But here's the irony, which is I don't think that this is going to end anytime soon. And so we could see a change in party in terms of national and local elections, but 2 years from now, it's not going to be that much different.
I don't know. I think if we get a big change in the midterm elections, I think you will see some changes. I don't think you'll see as many as we want, but I think you will see some changes. And also, we have the governor's race coming up in a lot of states, and those are very important. The legislatures of every state will make a difference. So I think we will see a difference, but like you say, maybe not the difference we want to see over the next 2 years.
Yeah, because I mean, you will see a policy difference, but I mean, you know, state legislators and governors are not able to alter the price of gasoline or the price of food.
No, but they can do something maybe about the gas tax and, you know, just a little bit of relief. But again, you're right, the policies are going to make a difference coming out of Washington. But I think you're going to see a big change in Congress in the 2022 election.
All right, so let's just talk about gas prices for a moment. So you do a reduction in gas taxes, now you're affecting the repairs of roads, the building of new roads. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
That's right. That's right. But we've got to get some solutions out of Washington. That's where it's coming from, and that's what needs to be done.
All right. So again, you know, I go back to the same thing. If you take on the federal gas tax, then now you're affecting interstate highways. You're doing all kinds of things.
Well, I don't think it's just the tax. I think we are not being self-sustaining like we were. I mean, you had the pipeline that was shut down. We are not producing gas, I mean, the way we were, oil, and I think those policies need to change. There's no difference if you're buying it from other countries than you're producing it yourself, except the price.
Well, the Keystone Pipeline, as you said, was not built, but that gasoline is, or the oil is still making it down to the coast of the refineries. It's just moving by truck. Mm-hmm. I think that people that were doing drilling in the United States, they saw the price of gas drop dramatically. Now it's up, but do they have the confidence to restart their rigs again if they feel that within a couple of years the price of gas will go down? If OPEC, which is really the villain in all of this,
right,
decides that they're going to pump more gas.
And that's why this election is important. We need to really look at people who will find solutions on a federal level for what is happening in each and every person that goes to the gas station, that goes to the supermarket, and we see the shortage in almost everything.
Have you endorsed in the governor's race?
I have.
Who did you endorse?
Joe Lombardo.
Okay. Did you watch the debate?
I did.
As we're playing this back, it's probably a couple of weeks ago now from when the debate occurred. As we're taping this, it was last night. What did you think of the debate?
I think it's pretty clear that Lombardo was getting all the attacks because he is the front runner. I think he answered the questions well. I think Joey Gilbert did a good job as well. I think a couple of them were just trying too hard.
What did you think of Joe Lombardo's closing remarks?
Well, I think that Joe Lombardo is confident that he's going to win the primary, and I think he's right. I think he will win the primary.
I think that may go down in history as some of the most intense closing remarks and making the point, but we'll go from there. So part of your district is Summerlin, correct?
That's correct.
That is an amazing area for those across the rest of the state that may not have been to Las Vegas recently. It's owned by the Hughes Corporation. It's expanding dramatically. What are your concerns about interest rates and potentially a slowdown in the home building that's going on in Summerlin?
Well, as we know, the home building has slowed down for the whole month of April. The report came out and it has slowed. As long as we keep raising interest rates, you're going to continue to see housing slow down, the building, and there's a lot of people coming from other states to our state. So it'll keep our housing prices high. At the same time, you're going to see the building slow down.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back. We have much more to ask you after this timeout. As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, Retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Ahern Rentals began as Signal gas station on Las Vegas Boulevard. Founder John Ahern grew the business by offering rentals. His son Don built on John's legacy, growing Ahern Rentals into the largest independently owned American rental company with 89 locations in 30 states. Don also brought his experience and vision to equipment manufacturing with Extreme Manufacturing and Snorkel. Today, Ahern Rentals continues to bring its family values to a new generation. Learn more at ahern.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Las Vegas City Councilwoman Victoria Seaman. She represents Ward 2. Okay, I got to ask you about this feud with Michelle Fiore.
You knew this was
well, of
coming.
course you knew it was going to come. I mean, you guys were in a knockdown drag-out. When did this feud start? Where is it now? Is it going to be resolved?
Sam, I was not in a knockout dragout. I was assaulted, and it is in HR right now, and I'm still hoping for resolution on it. It's something that should never happen to anyone, and again, it's in the hands of the investigation right now.
Okay, what kind of resolution are you hoping for?
I would like Michelle Fiore, Councilwoman Fiore, to resign. And I would like to make sure that the city has policies that these assaults are reported and dealt with when they happen.
Okay. She's going to be gone from the city council at the end of this term anyway. She's running for treasurer. There are people that are just asking what is going on where two grown women are getting into this kind of situation. What was the basis of this? Can you share it with us?
I can only tell you this. Because it's being investigated, people don't know exactly what happened.
Can you share that with us?
If you and another human being part ways because maybe you don't have the same beliefs or ideas, that's okay. We can still be cordial with one another. But when it turns to physical violence, it's unacceptable.
All right. You guys were friends for a long time. I mean, you were everywhere together. I mean, the last time I interviewed you, you were with Michelle at that time. What happened along the way? Obviously, it wasn't just, political issues, I'm presuming.
Well, once again, when people decide that they need to part ways because maybe they're going in different directions, I think that happens in life with a lot of friends and a lot of people, and that's okay. But never is physical assault acceptable.
Okay, and we certainly obviously will offer Michelle Fiore a chance to comment on this as well, so that her side of the story is heard. Can you explain what the change in the road for you two was, where you diverged?
We were just two different people in two different directions, and that's really all I can say. I mean, it happens with friends when maybe they just don't think the same way, they don't believe the same way, and there was just respect that was lost, and I felt like I needed to keep my distance.
Was there a particular issue that you guys, diverged on?
Probably it just came to that point.
Because you were philosophically aligned for a long time.
Well, we were always somewhat aligned politically, but we were very different as people.
Okay, all right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about some other issues after this timeout.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
With Nevada's only transplant center and verified burn center, the science is here. With award-winning cardiologist and the state's only dedicated heart failure clinic, the talent is here. With Nevada's most advanced robotic surgery, the technology is here. And with the Silver State's only designated pediatric trauma center, hope is here. All because we are here. UMC.
Meantime, here in Nevada, we appear to have one of the highest inflation rates in the country.
Soaring prices for gas, food, housing, and construction supplies continue to hammer Nevadans.
Senator Catherine Cortez Masto was the deciding vote for President Biden's multi-trillion-dollar spending spree, sending inflation through the roof and raising gas and grocery prices over 8% on hardworking Nevadans. Tell Senator Cortez Masto to stop voting for reckless spending and start fighting inflation.
I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. One of the things I love about the Carson Valley Inn here in beautiful downtown Minden is CB steak. I have eaten here so many times. Tell folks what they can expect when they come here to eat.
It's a beautiful room, great service. We have certified Angus beef, seafood, lamb, a great range of appetizers, and wonderful desserts. Jean-Michel's done a great job of selecting some beautiful wines for us. The customers love it, and we've got a great selection of cocktails as well. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Victoria Seaman. She is the Councilwoman for Ward 2 on the Las Vegas City Council. Let me ask you about the Badlands lawsuit. First of all, if you wouldn't mind, for those in northern Nevada that are not aware of this situation, first of all, explain what it is.
So Badlands was a defunct golf course that was bought by a gentleman's company, Johan Lowy, and they were approved to build on that property. And there became a dispute over the people who lived there that didn't want any building. To make a long story short, Bob Beers was ousted as the councilman, and Councilman Soroka was voted in, and he, as what the judge of the last lawsuit said, that Johan Lowy had a taking of his property, and he put a judgment against the city. There are 2 other lawsuits.
Can I just hold a second?
Sure.
It was a $34 million
Yes.
judgment.
Plus legal fees. And there are 2 other outstanding lawsuits. So when I got elected, my goal was to bring the parties together and get settlement. This was already in court when I got elected in 2019, and a lot of people don't know that. But it was already in the courts. But my goal was to bring the parties together to see what we could do so it wouldn't come to this judgment. People have to understand we still have 4 council members, board members, including the mayor, that were there when we got it into the courts. So until I think we see a change in the council, we are not going to come to settlement. And I hope that we do, because if we don't, the city might have to write a huge check.
Okay, and if those other cases get similar kinds of judgments, what are we looking at, $150 million?
A check that we can't afford to write. So again, I've stopped voting for more money for outside counsel We've spent
It was
millions.
$100,000 that they were asking for, right?
In the last one each time. So the last 3 votes that we took, I voted against any outside funding to continue this lawsuit. I believe that the council members really need to get together and they need to settle. I've gone through 2 city attorneys and 2 city managers, and my goal has always been with them. I want meetings, I want to bring this to settlement, and with no avail.
Okay, and why is that?
Again, 4 of the members.
Well, no, I understand
Okay.
4 of the members don't want to
You
do it.
need 4 votes.
Right, but why do they not want to settle when...
Why are we in this situation in the first place? That's something you would have to ask them. Why the votes went the way they did.
Okay, and your thought on this?
My thought is it needs to be settled.
No, I understand that, but I mean, why do you think the votes went the way they did?
Well, I can't speak for other council members. That's a question that you really need to ask them.
In so many areas, you and the mayor have worked together. Why not on this one?
Oh, the mayor has worked with me on this. The mayor has. I have to say she has worked with me on this.
Okay, so now you've got 2 votes then, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we had 3.
Okay, so basically, who's the holdout then?
I'm not allowed to count votes, so I'm not going to count votes here. So,
okay.
Yeah. This is something you would have to reach out to the council members and ask them about. My personal opinion on Badlands is we need to come together and we need to settle the matter. We need to meet with them and continue those negotiations until we come to a settlement.
Do you see a settlement coming from the developer? You know, I mean, does he have a plan that he will lay out that's not going to cost $150 million?
Well, again, and that's something you need to when these go into negotiation, the city attorneys go in with the city manager and their attorneys. And I'm not going to talk about stuff that's done behind the doors,
Sure.
But so far in the last 2 meetings they have come back without a settlement because they need to have the council on board for any type of settlement.
Okay, and it seems like the developer is in a position where he's already got one judgment. It would seem that...
It's on appeal right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think the chances are of that appeal?
You know, I don't know, but again, I don't want to roll the dice. I think we need to come together and settle. I mean, nobody wins when this thing carries on for years. The taxpayers are the losers. And I don't want the city to be on the hook for millions of dollars. I think it's really important, again, to bring everybody together and try to settle it. And this has been my goal since I got elected, and I'll continue to try to do that. I do know that by November we're going to have a new makeup of the council, and maybe we'll come to a better conclusion.
You've got a tough re-election campaign. You got, what, 5 opponents?
Yes.
What's your confidence level on getting re-elected?
Well, I'm hoping that we get re-elected in the primary. We need 50 plus 1, and I'm hoping that I do so I can help other candidates get elected.
Tell me about this website that the judge got taken down.
Right.
What was that all about? And again, for folks, you know, we have a statewide audience, so they're not so aware of what's going on in the city of Las Vegas. What was this website all about?
Well, when we filed the cease and desist back in, I believe it was August or September, against Councilwoman Fiore, the same day the website appeared, and it was a lot of slander, a lot of accusations, allegations with question marks. With, you know, in campaigns we are supposed to, by law, to put who is responsible for them at the bottom of the advertisement or text or whatever it is. And this one had no one's name. And so it literally took me 8 months to get in front of a judge and finally be able to take it down, and of course thousands of dollars. And I don't know how people who don't have the funds or the time to do this, what they have to go through.
The site was related to a name that was not a real name, correct?
Right. It was a fake name. It was we hired an investigator. It was hidden behind a lot of different walls, and this is something that really concerns me because as a public official, we put ourselves out there, and for people to attack us, and that's okay. You know, you can attack me on policy, but to make false allegations is something that can ruin people's lives. And I am going to work really hard in the next legislative session with legislators, because I meet with them regularly, to see if we can change these SLAPP laws. Because the SLAPP laws were changed in 2015 to basically, if you say, well, I didn't know if it wasn't true, you're allowed to do that. And I think that's wrong, even as a public official. And once again, if you can't put your name on that website or advertisement, then, and this person that we found at GoDaddy was not on the website. It was the name for the GoDaddy URL. But I think we need to work on those things in Nevada.
I think you'll probably get a lot of pushback from the newspaper industry in the state if you do that, to try and change the SLAPP laws.
Well, they were changed in well, this is basically saying that you can basically say, well, I didn't know it wasn't true. Newspapers do their due diligence. I mean, they usually, what I've seen with the press is that they won't print something unless they've checked on it.
One hopes, right.
One hopes, and I've not seen this type of thing being done by any newspaper.
Okay, well, that's where we have to leave it. Thank you. Some tough questions here about some tough issues, but we appreciate you being here, and thank you, and come back.
I appreciate it.
And don't take 6 years.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, and we'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino. All new DC Cafe and Bar, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you. But we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
That's it for this edition of Nevada Newsmakers. We'll see you on the next broadcast. Thanks for watching.